What's up, Raiders? It's Orth. Now, today we got another episode of Hydra Slayers. Today we're looking at Rathalos, Blade Master. This is the champion that we got from the collaboration that Raid and Plarium did with Monster Hunter. So we're going to be comparing him with Quintus. Now, Quintus is the champion you can pick up from Live Arena if you get to 4K points. 4K used to be a massive grind. It's still a bit of a grind, but now it's doable since the whales have now moved on. This guy has been in the game for, I want to say, like over a year now. So I would highly recommend, grinding out Live Arena for this guy and then picking this guy up. You guys will see he does an insane amount of damage. The reason why he does a ton of damage, basically because of his A1. His A1 places an extra hit if the target has no buffs. So you want to do this on a severed head, so to get the extra attack. And if the attack is critical, repeats the attack once. So you get 4 hits, and with those 4 hits, he does some pretty insane numbers. I've seen my Quintus do like 500k per hit, which is 2 million per basic attack. Now you can get that with ally attack, you can get it with counter attack, you can get it on basically his own turn. I don't use his A2, I don't use his A3, he's just an A1 merchant for me. That's all he does. There was 1 or 2 turns right at the end I used A3 because Mischief had like ep my champion or something like that, and we didn't have Hex on him, so we did the guaranteed AoE, but we do not use A2 or A3. A2 is a little bit useful when it comes to stripping Wrath if he gets increased attack or block debuffs and reflect damage. Also, when Suffering does reflect damage, you can strip that as well. Or if you want to strip some buffs in between, I don't really use the A2 outside of those 2 things. But yeah, A1 is really where the money is. He does so much damage with his A1, and you guys will see in the run. Each of this champion skills deals additional pure damage. The amount of pure damage dealt is equal to 10% of the target's max HP for each buff on them. The additional pure damage dealt will ignore shield buffs. Now, we don't have any buffs on Hydra. The only buff that Hydra keeps is probably going to be the Dragon Rage buff. I believe that's what it's called. When the dragons or when the Hydra spawns in, it has a massive damage reduction buff. So kind of like this passive really isn't doing anything for us. So we don't want to hit anything under buffs. We want to do block buffs, we want to do strip buffs, we want to make sure they don't have any buffs, as many debuffs as possible. This would have been nice if it was scaling with debuffs and not buffs, then he would be completely insane. But his A1 is the money ability, and that's all you need. The stats on him are pretty good. We did give him some good gear. He is in 7.7k attack, 265 speed, 322 crit damage, and he is not awakened. If he had 2-star awakening, he'd get another 750 attack, which would take him closer to the 8.5k, which would be amazing. Most of my champions I'm running in my team, or all of my champions in this team, none of them have 2-star awakening. All of them just have like 1-star, if that. So the gear is good, yes, but then empowerment can like offset it for you. If you have a 2-star Quintus, if you have a 4-star Quintus, that's amazing because then you get the crit damage. But my Quintus is not awakened at all right now. So these are the masteries I have on him right now. Looking at these masteries, they seem to be quite optimized for classic arena. Looks like I took the attack mastery since we already capped on crit and I wanted as much damage as I can put into him. So I'm going to go ahead and quickly reset his masteries. We do have a free reset, so I haven't changed these for a while. Let's take a quick look at what we would run on our Quintus. I always recommend taking crit rate mastery, even though you might find a build that's got enough crit rate, but further down the line I feel like it always comes around to crit rate being the best and slightly more optimal for your mastery setup. I think these will be the masteries I take on him. Crit rate, Heart of Glory to do more damage when you're max HP, crit damage, life drink is nice to heal him up. Single out when HP is low on enemy, and then more damage on higher HP champions. These are the masteries we're going to quickly go ahead and apply to him. We are going to go over on crit now, but it won't be an issue if I do optimize him again for build. We are going to come out with a much better build. So yeah, I would recommend sticking with crit rate if you are looking at masteries for damage dealers. I have spoken about Helm Smasher before. And Helm Smasher is fantastic for champions who don't have damage that is capped. when it comes to Hydra, right? We have enemy max HP champions who are capped, can't do more damage than 10%. But with Helm Smasher, there is no limit. You can just keep going and keep doing more damage. That's why I like Helm Smasher on these kind of champions. So these are the masteries I would recommend running on Rathalos. You'll see his crit rate is up a little bit, 109%, but we will be able to get this checked in and optimized if we do rerun the optimization. Those are his stats, and we are comparing him to Rathalos. Now, Rathalos, like I mentioned, is a champion that came over from the Monster Hunter collaboration that Ray did. He does really good damage. He does massive damage. I'm not sure if we looked at his gear just yet. I don't think we have. Let's take a look. He is wearing okay gear. This gear, I went back and looked at how I can improve my Rathalos, and we can give him like 20% more crit damage, 30 more speed, and 500 more attack. So there is like a lot of space for him to grow. But since he's +2, I kind of wanted to make the comparison pretty realistic, because if I make him +2 in best gear and then put Quintus in best gear, he would have the advantage of being +2. So it's a nice little balancing act going on. We have, let's take a look. With Rathalos, we have 6,500 attack, 240 speed, 100% crit rate, 287 crit damage. We have the ignore defense. He is in Relentless because we are mainly using this ability to ignore 100% of the target's defense, which is going to be a boss. So his main damage comes from his A2. His A1 can hit insanely hard. His A1 also gives a decreased defense, which can't be resisted by the Hydra heads because they count as bosses. So this guy is really good too. Inflicts 50% more damage against enemies under HP burn debuffs. That's got to be a Sisia landing our burns for us. Receives less damage from enemies under HP burns, so it gives them a bit more survivability, which is nice. Every fifth skill used by this champion deals 200% more damage. Now, with this passive, people have kind of really thought of how to make the most out of him. Do you run him with ally attackers? Do you run him in Relentless? Do you run him in Reflex? What's the best way to get this to proc the most? Me personally, I would say the best thing to do is run him in Reflex and then run him without playing the A3. You turn off the A3, you do A1 and A2s, and you run him in Reflex. Since he's ignoring 100% of the target's defense, you do not need the ignore defense beside that, right? So we have taken War Master. You could take Flawless Execution if you wanted to, although I don't think you'll get that much of a damage increase as War Master would give you. Giant Slayer, he's all single hit, so he's not really going to be doing anything there. Flawless or War Master, I've taken War Master. He only really does the AoE every second Spirit Splash. So even his War Master isn't really that much effective. You could take Flawless Execution, but I don't really love any of the tier 6s, to be quite frank. But he does do massive damage. He does insane damage. We compared him to Salad before. It was a different team, so we are going to be putting them in the same team. This is the team we're going to be running. This is the team I am using currently. Eastrid, the Fusion champion. Love her. She's amazing. I put her in nearly all of my Hydra rotations. She is just that good. Increase speed, increase attack, decrease speed. She is in a hex set for me. I'm running a double hex set in this team. Really helped out the damage. You guys see the amazing key that we do. We have Cardiel. He's really good. Ally attack, cleanse debuffs, block debuffs, increase crit rate, increase crit damage. Super nice champion. I have him in protection set. So he does 4 buffs, which if the 4 buffs are active, he gives the team 20% more damage, which is insane. We have Rathalos, we have Tuhanarek, love Tuhanarek. The more I build teams for other people, the more I kind of love Tuhanarek and what she does for the team. We have Sisia. Now, Sisia's great. She is really effective in this rotation. Since we only have one head of Torment is the only guy that she's weak against. Everybody else she has good affinity against. So if you have a Sisia and you're thinking about running her, I would recommend running her in this rotation. It is the best time to run Sisia. And with Cardiel kind of cheats with her. She kind of makes him ally attack every time, and it doesn't really count as a turn, so it's just free damage you're getting. And then we have Quintus at the end. So that is the team. That is how we are running it. I want to talk to you about the presets really quickly. I'm not sure if I pull up the presets here. No, we don't. So with Cardiel, we're prioritizing ally attack, and then the cleanse. With each trade, we're prioritizing the turn meter boost and increased speed, then the decreased speed. Rathalos, we're turning off the A3, keeping the A2 and A1 active. To Hanorak, A2, then A3 priority. Sisia, A3, then A2 priority. We're doing the burns, and then we're doing the detonate. And then Quintus, you just want to do A1, and he goes absolutely berserk. You will see the amount of damage that Quintus can get through. The starter for this team, we're just going ahead and ally attacking Blight on the left. We will be doing the debuffs. I think I do block debuffs, or do I forget? No, I just forget to do block debuffs. But it's not really an issue. Do I restart the key? I think we just keep going. We did get Mischief hexed. So I'm running a double hex set. I'm not running any provoke in this team. A lot of people have told me how much they rely on provoke to counter decay. But with this run, you guys will see that decay wasn't really ever a problem. He spawns in, most of the Hydra heads are pretty much gone. And then he spawns in, he does a cleanse. His AI is kind of bad. He even cleanses AoE when he's the only Hydra head alive. And I think that they made that change after they added the ability to provoke him. So they kind of made him a little bit worse. So I'm not really running any provoke on my team whatsoever. We are going straight damage. We kill Hydra heads that fast. We don't really care about a one-turn cleanse. If they cleanse, they cleanse. There are sometimes they get the Blight gets down Poison Cloud. I think he does it like once or twice, which kind of stunts our damage right at the end. But you guys will see here, the A1 from Quintus is coming in at 500,000 each hit. Some hits go up to 600,000. He does anywhere between 1.9 million to 2.4 million. Is actually insane each turn he takes. So he's A1ing severed heads and he's absolutely ruining them. He is just that strong. We have here 814k. Here he goes again, 600k hits. That's two 600k hits, 570k hits. Absolute madness from the free champion we get. So yeah, we are going to run this key. This is exactly how we're going to let it run. I will speed it up. If anybody wants to watch the slowdown version of this, I will leave a link to the live run where you can see it in real time. But I am going to speed it up because I think it's around about an hour long. And we'll come back in the end. We'll talk about what we think about Quintus, what we think about his damage, and see if we can make this team even better. So you guys enjoy the run, and I'll catch you guys in a bit. So here it is. Here's the final key, 989 million. Just 11 million shy of a billion. We really tried near the end to make sure we do everything optimally so we can get that 1 billion. But hey, alas, we didn't hit that billion. Maybe if we had 2 stars in there, then we could have gotten there. If Rathalos's build was pretty much fully optimized, I couldn't make a plus for Rathalos. The thing is, I never picked up the Rathalos's blessing because I was taking a bit of a break from the game. So if I make him +4 now, he'll always not have a blessing for me. Until I get 4-star blessing, I'm kind of shying away from making him +4. Maybe we'll make him a +4 and we'll go full send as well. But yeah, 989 million. We'll look at the damage. Cardiel doing 100 million for absolutely no reason is actually insane. Is actually really good. He's 9-piece protection. I'll show you guys the build in a second. Eastrid is doing 93 million. Now, Eastrid is in a hex set with a little bit of damage. She's like 70% crit rate, so she does crit. She does get a nice bit of damage there. 203 million from Rathalos. Definitely no joke. Definitely can be improved on, and that is a really nice amount of damage. Any DPSer clearing 200 million in Nightmare or in Brutal is definitely good. In Brutal, 200 million is roundabout what you're kind of looking for. In Nightmare, you're looking for anywhere between 175+ million. If your DPS reaches that mark, it's actually really quite good again. But then again, it really does depend on what the teams you're running. But that's generally like a ball, just kind of ball area for me. I'm kind of looking for. Then we have Tuhonrag, 55 million. She's not really there doing much damage. She's there for the increased speed, increased defense, block buffs, decrease attack. She's my only source of decreased attack in this team, which kind of concerned me, but it wasn't too much of a concern since, you know, the heads are dying really quick and we are spreading and keeping them controlled pretty well. We also have Sissia doing 214 million damage. She is in a hex set, so it's not as she out damaged Rathalos purely, but she does do nice bit of damage. I will show you her gear as well. Another champion in curse set with crit stats, so she will be doing a decent amount of crits, and she gets the extra turn too, and she kind of pops off a little bit. So Sissy is there, also getting damage from burns. But let's go ahead and just take a look at this Quintus damage. 314 million from Quintus. Absolutely insane numbers. Now I'm saying 200 million is good, and it is, but 314 million from a champion that is, I'm going to say free, and then people are going to be like, oh, you know, grinding live arena isn't free. You pay with like your soul or something. Some real edgelords in my comments. But Quintus, at the end of the day, he is sort of free. You can get him by grinding the game, and he's got no awakening. You guys can see no awakening, no empowerment, just fully just base Quintus doing 314 million. Actual insanity. Insane damage numbers. It's basically just A1. Nothing fancy. A2 came out a few times to strip some things. I didn't really care about the decreased defense. Rathalos's A1 has an irresistible decreased defense on a 60% chance. Maybe it books up a little bit more, but he is doing the A1 decreased attack for me. If my Sissia didn't land it, I am just doing A1 with Quintus pretty much most of the time. So him getting 315 million is actually insane. Highly recommend. If you guys are looking for a DPS at Quintus, it might just be your guy. There are a few other champions that we've covered who do insane damage too, but yeah, Quintus is incredible. Love Quintus. Let's go ahead and take a look at the other champions, what gear they were rocking. We'll start with Cardiel. Since I'm really happy with this Cardiel build, it's not the most damage I've seen from a protection Cardiel. I have seen some really crazy builds. Mine's 319, 250 crit damage, 70% crit rate, 3.2k attack. He's got enough survivability, 55,000 HP, 3k defense. He doesn't need accuracy, but I've taken resistance on him just to make sure he doesn't get debuffed, and that we have another champion that can also resist mischief if he gets targeted. And here are his masteries. Now I was looking over the masteries, and they're not exactly what I would take for Hydra. Looking back at them, it might have been something I was using for Tomb Tower. I am going to go ahead and take the reset on his masteries, and we are going to optimize his masteries for Hydra. So these are the masteries I would recommend. I did initially show some slightly different masteries, but this is what I would say. Life Drinker is good for DPSs when they get low, but a healer, a pure healer himself that he is, I would take more healing. Generally going to be better for the build. So these are the masteries I would recommend on him. Let's go take a look at Eastrid. Now, Eastrid is a fantastic champion. We love Eastrid. I did say she's 70% crit rate, but I actually crit capped her because she does take the extra turn, and I was concerned that she would run off the increased crit rate given by cardio when she takes the extra turn. So we did crit cap her. We have 179 crit damage. We have 3k attack. Now, I have been seeing some meme builds where people are running her with high damage, so I thought I'd give her a bit of damage myself and see how she does. She did okay. She did run about 100 million, I want to say. Not bad, just under 100 million. She is in hex set, but I wanted to keep her nice and quick, 316 speed. Since the increased attack getting onto our nukers is more important than her actually doing damage. So nice and quick, we have her crit capped and giving her some damage. We put her in a hex set, so she is doing hex, and she's kind of leeching some damage that way. 9-piece protection. I don't have the pieces for 9-piece protection. I did check. I have a Ami and I have a banner, but I don't have a ring unless it's already equipped. Yeah, no, I don't have a ring just yet. Once we get a ring, then maybe we can go with a protection, 9-piece protection, Eastrid 2, since she does do 2 buffs and it's going to give us 10% increased damage. That is nothing by any means. These are the masteries we have taken on Eastrid. We have gone with a bit of healing on her with Life Drinker. We didn't take Single out because the damage is not really something I'm kind of crazy about, but it's nice to have a little bit of War Master action going on. So that is Eastrid. Love Eastrid. She's amazing. She's pretty much going to be in all of my Hydra teams from now on. Sissia. Now let's take a look at Sissia. She is also in a curse set. Now she was pretty much dominating the debuff of Hex. She didn't really give Eastrid much of a look in when it comes to landing her Hex, because she's got 2 AoEs, and Eastrid really has the 1 3-turn cooldown AoE, where Sissia has the 1 4-turn cooldown and 1 3-turn cooldown, and she has an extra turn if she is successful with landing all of her burns. So she was kind of just dominating the Hex debuff. She is built with a little bit of damage. Sissia's base attack is quite high, so she did get up around 200 million damage with her Hex set, which was really nice damage. Really good, really happy with that. These are her stats: just under 6k attack, 5.8k attack, 291 speed. My debuffers, I like 290 speed. My DPSs, I like 270, and my buff champions, I like 320. That's kind of like what I'm going with when it comes to Hydra right now. Those are the speeds I am trying to go. There are some exceptions like Mishinaki, because his damage comes from his passive. I don't mind him being 240, 250 even, but those are generally the speeds I go for. We have her in 76% crit rate, just because I didn't want to push the curse set too much. I don't really have the best curse set. I got quite lucky with a few of these pieces. She has 281 crit damage, really nice. The curse set's kind of being carried by the perception set. 317 accuracy, enough to land debuffs, and we have the 100% ignore defense. I didn't run any refresh on her because I prioritize her burn into her detonate, and I didn't want to proc refresh and keep landing burn and not actually getting any decreased defense and weaken. So a bit of a weird sort of interaction. I didn't take Relentless. I kind of lean away from taking Relentless on my support units, and I think you should do the same, because if you take too many turns, you are just running up the counter. As you can see, my teams go the full length of the fight. They go 1500 turns. So if I'm getting quicker to those 1500 turns, we're not really going to be getting the same amount of damage. So that's why I try not to get too much Relentless going. She's super nice. She does burn on herself, which turns into like an immortal set for the whole team. She basically heals everybody 3% every time the burn detonates. She increases her speed whenever there's burns out there. That's nice. She also, if Cardiel's on the same team, all allies will heal 3%. So that's the ally synergy, or the duo effect, whatever you want to call it. He himself teams up with Sissia. This champion will attack with the default skill. Always joins Sisia Flametongue's attack if they're on the same team. This is actually really good because you are basically getting free damage from Cardiel's A1 whenever Sisia does any ability. So that's really, really nice. She's doing the AoE burn, and she is also detonating the burn and doing decreased defense on the AoEs. In a curse set, double AoE, love it. Does really, really good work. Cruelty too, just to make sure we get some decreased defense when she's doing the AoEs. Really, really nice. These are the masteries I've taken on her. She doesn't have the most damage on right now, so I haven't really given her a Helm Smasher. These are probably the masteries I've taken for Hydra. Just looking around, yeah, this looks just fine to me. She doesn't really do any buffs. So these are the masteries on her. She did 200 million damage, so really happy with Sisia's performance, especially in this Hydra rotation. Let's see, who else do we have? Have we covered everyone? Tuhanrak's the last champion. I feel like Tuhanrak is pretty much waiting for protection pieces so she can go into 9-piece protection with enough resistance and accuracy. That's basically it. The same Tuhanrak build, enough resistance, enough accuracy, a bit of crit on there so she can do a little bit of damage. She's only single target, so she's not really getting much damage, but she is not to be undersold. She's incredible. I've built a bunch of teams for people, and they all kind of struggle with Pain Link, since if you get Pain Linked, it can be quite tricky. You can't hit suffering too hard, otherwise you take a ton of damage. People struggle with debuffs like fear. People struggle with poisons too, which kind of stack up. So 200 giving you every turn cleanse is very, very good. Also decrease attack, increase speed, block buffs, increase defense. All these things she does are fantastic. Not underselling this champion, but I don't think her build is really anything much to write home about. It's just a basic little resistance accuracy build with Blood Shield in there. So that is the team. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you guys are looking to build Quintus, if you guys are looking up for some damage dealers. I will be covering more damage dealers like we have done in the past. We do have some really good options in Hydra outside of the Acrisias and the Terrasses and all the pay to win stuff. There are some really good options in there for you to run in Hydra and, you know, get inspired by some of the damage dealers we're using on this channel. Leave a comment in the comment section down below. Like the video if you enjoyed it. Sub to the channel if you guys want to support the channel. Thank you so much for your time. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.